Hey now, you're watching HotHouse Global. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, this is TatsuAoki from Asian Improv Arts Midwest. And thank you, HotHouse Global, for inviting us and showing program number two. This is one of the things we do is, we are the performing arts organization in Chicago, and we have many, many connections of traditional and contemporary arts in all over the country, all over US and internationally. So um, it's been a pleasure to work with Hot House Global to be able to introduce some of our friends of ours, program number two today. So, very first artist today, um, Yuko Oshima, whom I met a few years ago. I met her in Berlin Jazz Festival. She was doing a program with Hamid Drake, one of the Chicago's very, very well known drummer, percussionist, artist, and friend of ours. And Yuko was doing a duet with Hamid Drake, and I was on the tour with Nicole Mitchell's Mandola's Awakening that time. So we both met in Berlin Jazz Festival, and I talked. And last year, I invited Yuko to come to MCA on one of our Taiko Legacy reduction, and she did a wonderful performance together with Hamid and um, our drummers at the Taiko Legacy. And here we are. We invited her to join us today. And slightly delayed live streaming performance. I just had her record this because it is actually 2 a.m. in France. So she did this little earlier than that so she can go to sleep now. But here is everybody, wonderful art and percussion artist Yuko Oshima from France.
Hello, this is Yuko Oshima. 私は大島優子と申します。ドラムを叩いております。日本人です。名古屋出身。今はフランスに住んでいて、今日もフランスから音楽をお届けします。Je m'appelle Yuko Oshima, je suis batteur. Hello, this is Yuko Oshima. 私は大島優子と申します。ドラムを叩いております。日本人です。名古屋出身。今はフランスに住んでいて、今日もフランスから音楽をお届けします。Je m'appelle Yuko Oshima, je suis batteuse japonaise qui habite en France. Je vais vous jouer une petite pièce improvisée. Enjoy. I hope you enjoy it. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, Yuko. That was really, really great. Um, I hope she can come back to Chicago to perform with us again sometime very, very soon. But that was a greeting from our friends in France, Yuko Oshima. And now we go to kind of our archival videotape from a few years ago. We run a annual performing arts series called Beyond the Box, which is one of our dancer Rika Lin, i.e. Grandmaster Yoshinojo Fujima's collaboration with Lynx Hall. And there we have many different guests from Japan and all over the world as well. And one of the things that we started to do last year at the Asian Improv Arts Midwest is collaboration of a visual art in Hokkaido, Japan, which is the northern island of Japan. Um, and there's a town called Obihiro, real small area, but we have a kind of interesting exchange between our younger generation visual artists and their artists. And 3 years ago, we brought one of the calligrapher from the Hokkaido area, around that area, and had collaboration between Rika Lin on her neoclassical piece. And this is a very interesting piece. It's a kind of a mixture of improvised music and a Japanese calligraphy. It's a contemporary calligraphy. And I kind of like to present this video because one of our dear friend, Julia Miller, is also part of the ensemble. The music is by Miyumi Project Reduction Ensemble with Edward Wilkerson, Jamie Kempkers, and Kyoto Aoki. And we have Julia Miller joining us with Natsuki Kubo's very interesting contemporary calligraphy piece that's created by Rika Lin back in 2016. And let's go check it out. Wow, that was a video that we worked out the glitch, but that was a piece created by Rika Lin. But the parts that we saw of the performance was the opening of the piece on Rika Lin's Beyond the Box series with the Lynx Hall and calligraphy done by Kubo Natsuki. And of course, music is initiated by our great improviser Julia Miller. Such a powerful piece, and I really, really like this. And I think what she created that day, the piece is actually on the wall of Link Soul's office, I believe, still today. So we keep that. Now, Beyond the Box and also Bridge is a two series that we collaborate with Link Soul every year, and we're doing the 3-4 day performances. Let me introduce you our another important friend, Tom Lee. Um, he's sort of a well-known Chicago-based puppeteer, and he's also part of the organizer of International Puppet Festival. And our connection with the Asian Improv Arts Midwest is that we have been collaborating with one of the puppet grandmaster of Hachioji Kuruma Ningyo, which is kind of like a bunraku. I think people know this Japanese traditional bunraku. But the Hachioji Kuruma Ningyo is, instead of a bunraku being operated by three master puppeteers, he sits under this moving wheel and does everything by himself. And Tom Lee is a great associate and sort of an apprentice of Koryu Nishikawa, Grandmaster Koryu Nishikawa, and he brought this idea of Kuruma Ningyo into Chicago puppet scene. And we have done several collaborations last year and this year in Rika Lin, i.e. Yoshinojo Fujima, myself, and all of our associated musicians are consistently evolving in how to create this wonderful world of puppet and Asian American improvised creative music. And Tom Lee is a very, very important part of this new development. We've never really stretched out to puppet, the world of a puppet as a Asian Improv Arts as an organization until we met Tom Lee and Koryu Nishikawa sensei from Tokyo. So let's visit Tom's very, very interesting video work.
Good evening, I'm Tom Lee. I want to say a big thank you to TatsuAoki and Rika Lin for having me as part of Global HotHouse this evening. I'm here to introduce a short piece of puppetry and music called Spiral Prayer. This piece I made for a teacher who passed away in April from COVID-19 in New York. Jun Maeda was a scenic designer, a sculptor, an artist, the resident scenic designer of La Mama Experimental Theater in the East Village, where I met him as a young artist. He introduced me to many of the Japanese tools that I still use to this day. But more importantly, Maeda-san showed me what it meant to be an artist. He was possessed with an intense creative drive that never stopped. Whether he was making sculpture on stage or scenic design on stage, sometimes it was both of those things, and neither. When we heard of his passing, of course, many in the community who knew him mourned the loss of such an influential voice in our lives. And this piece comes out of that. The music is by my friend and colleague Perry Young, done on shakuhachi. I think of Maeda-san, and I'm reminded that we must continue to make art. We must continue to try to bring out from ourselves the best of human expression and try to touch others as best we can, even if we can't physically be in the same place.
Thank you. That was Tom Lee, one of our beloved puppeteer from Asian Improv Circuit in Chicago, and more to come with a collaboration with Tom Lee. We actually are working on a few new projects. I think Rika Lin is also working with Tom, and he is such an interesting puppeteer, contemporary and traditional. That's the way we want to see a lot of things. So next guest is Jen Shu. This is very, very important parts of the development of Asian American creative music. But before we do this, don't forget to donate to the artist. We have a donation button ready for you right in the bottom of the video when you see. And if you can just kindly to push that button and donate some fund for the artists who are performing in a very difficult time, I think that would be really, really wonderful. And now I'm going to move on to introduce next artist today from New York. And there it is. We have split screen with Jen Shu. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Hi,
Yeah,
that's
great.
Susan.
So Jen Shu is part of the important diaspora of this Asian American creative music. She lives in New York now, but of course she's one of the Bay Area influence to all over the United States, through Chicago to New York. And of course, we used to perform together with people like Francis Wong and John Jang and everybody else.
Yes.
So, when people don't know about this cultural diaspora, and it is a great opportunity today to talk about it, because we have Jen Shu, we have Francis Wong, we have Melody Takata, and Jeff Chan. They all came from a Bay Area. So, when you talk about the Bay Area funk, and there's a Bay Area Asian American creative music, and Jen Shu now is a very, very respected, award-winning artist, and she's all over the world performing this wonderful music. So I am so honored to have you in this global HotHouse Global program.
Oh, I'm the honored one. It's so
Great.
good to see you, even though it's
Yes.
in the screens, but
Yes, in the screen, and
yeah.
we'll meet in person after everything is over.
Yes.
But this is one of the technology that we didn't have last time, Jen. We weren't able to
Yeah.
do this last time, but now
No.
we can
Yeah.
have a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
now the performance is yours, Jen Shu.
Okay. Okay. I want to talk more. So today I'm just going to, I thought I'd just do two songs and even parts of the songs. One on my Taiwanese moon lute, which actually a big reason why I went to Taiwan right after college was conversations with Francis and John Jang and Jenny Lim and Melody and all these amazing artists in the Bay Area. And at the time, I was very kind of well assimilated into being born in Peoria, Illinois, and just kind of a little shy and being kind of ostracized from being Asian in my surrounding area, which was mainly Caucasian. So I was trying to just assimilate and be accepted at the time. And when I went to the Bay Area is when I really was encouraged finally to look at my roots, look at my heritage, and embrace it. So I went to Taiwan, which is where my dad was born, and then after that I went to China and went to East Timor. And so this song, the first song I'll sing, is actually it is on the Taiwanese moon lute, but it is after years of learning a lot of Taiwanese folk songs. After those years, I started to compose my own music, and this melody you'll hear me sing. It's a Timorese, it's a East Timorese melody that I learned directly from Mestre Marsal, and I have pictures as this is on my album Sounds and Cries of the World, which is 2 albums ago. But you can see Mestre Marsal right there, where I can point him. But that's him playing with his yes, his beautiful children are dancing. So he taught me this song directly, and beautiful translations. And anyway, I could go on forever. But then you'll hear in the lyrics, I wrote lyrics that were inspired by Naldo Rey, who is a Timorese author who wrote a book called Resistance, and a childhood fighting for East Timor. And it's an amazing book. He was born the year that the Indonesian military invaded East Timor. And so, yeah, he grew up just running and hiding, and his book really inspired this song. And of course, my mother, she's all in the song, so you'll hear lyrics about my mother. And at the end, I actually sing directly from, almost verbatim, some testimonies written in a document called Shega. And the whole title of it is the Report of the Commission for Reception, Truth, and Reconciliation, Timor-Leste Executive Summary. So that's the full title. But Chega in Portuguese, it means enough. And so, so it's a testimony of women who were raped at the time. And so that's the first song. And the second song I'll play on piano. It's a song I composed and wrote the lyrics to, and it's from my most recent solo work called Zero Grasses, and a very feminist song. So just wanted to share these 2 things with you, and kind of short versions of each, but just thought I would, give 2 instruments some chance to shine instead of just one. So I'm going to now give myself some reverb for you, and I hope that works. So here we go. Okay, so I'll go back here. And I'm going to actually take these headphones off. Still learning all this. Okay. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Oh, riulu be ala la ra buari ra ra ine te kutura ne sano san miane. In the past, our ancestors left us nothing but culture, and it's like बहुत बारीको बेलेरीको बताउने दिको तुराइया न्या फातिने My friend was a weaver of words, and he began to write. His voice was young with the soul of a sage. He wrote of our motherland and the violation by a bigger nation. And I dreamed of another time, but I saw her there, my mother, but she looked different, with white skin and short golden hair, but in dream I knew it was her. In a colorless cell, surrounded by guards with guns, torturous questions. When finally they pressed her face into a shield of thorns, a silver shield of thorns, mother, mother. And I appeared like an angel, unheard and concealed, and I ran to her to lay her face in a veil of ice. Mother, to hold her and heal her bleeding brow. I thought she had died, but no, she survived to sing the Timorese woman's sorrow. I saw the forceful harvest of sacred hairs. Before male soldiers, I saw the rape of pregnant women, including once when a woman was raped the day before she gave birth to a child of this troubled earth. Silenced again, never again. Silenced again, never again. Oh, la Siloida baby la Oh, la Siloida baby la Oh, la Siloida baby la lady da be da me safito de nani ande. We are not strangers, we are not separate beings. We are brother and sister only. We are not strangers. We are not separate beings. We are brother and sister only. But you climb atop the mountain where the sage stands waiting for you. She says, halfway is no way to live. You either live or die. Silently, the sage turns round and leaves a book behind her. Something seems familiar in her gait, but you realize too late you never saw her face. The traces of her robes remind you of your own facing where she disappeared. Your eyes fall on the book she left you. Its brittle cover you observe looks centuries old and yet untouched by any hand. You lay down your hand with eyes closed. You see your dreams unfold before you. Still with your hand upon the cover. We all move as one great wave, heaving one eternal Hello? Hello? Is anyone out there?
So wonderful. Wonderful to see you there, hear you there. In what do you call this? Telematic communications.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Okay.
telematic. That's what Mark Dresser would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody uses that term. It was so wonderful to see you telematically, and
Thank you.
I hope we would
Arigato.
create the opportunity to have you come to Chicago sometime soon.
Yes.
And
Yes.
where all
absolutely.
this legacy of Bay Area
Yes.
Asian American creative music
Yay.
now in New York, in Taiwan and Japan, and you've
Yes.
also went to Japan for a minute, yes?
I did, yes, and I
Yeah.
still have 3 months of research to do. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much,
much.
Jen Shu. And
Thank you.
we're already getting the effect of this, live stream thing that we are getting a donation from people. So don't
Oh,
forget to
great.
donate your funds to the artists. That it's very important to keep this wonderful culture going. And
Absolutely.
all of our performing artists and musicians and everybody else is working very, very hard to realize what could be in live, but now we have to do it this way. We're surviving the formula, and we appreciate your donations to HotHouse Global. Thank you, Jen,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see
Love
you
you,
again.
love you.
Right. Our next guest, Mari Fujihira, is a contemporary dancer, and she's part of our international bridge festival, and she's there from Tokyo. Yes, Mari さん、こんにちはですね。
おはようございます。Good morning.
Good morning in Tokyo. So, Fujihira Mari is joining us from Tokyo, and they're in the morning right now. And she's going to present us her new work a little bit. And どうですか？お加減は東京の様子はどうでしょうか？
人はまだあんまり出てないですね。
Not very many people out yet, but because they're in this homestay kind of thing still. Okay, so we are ready to see Mari Fujihira's piece. どうぞ。
Hi, I'm Mari from Tokyo. I hope this pandemic will finish soon and hope everyone's safe. Please enjoy my dance. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Tatsu-san. It's
Thank you, Mari-san. Thank you very much. Mari Fujihira from Tokyo. And I hope to have her come into the Bridge Dance Festival, one of the curations that we have from our dance department. And we were supposed to have all this stuff happen in this coming May right now, but you know how we are right now. So hope that we can revitalize this idea of having all these dancers come from Tokyo and Japan to Chicago again. Next down the line is I am very, very excited to have Mr. Dawei Wang. And he is one of the very, very unique, important person on this. I would say alternative avant rock scene in Chicago. And one of the Asian American performers that came out from that scene. And he's very well known for one of the kind of a legendary punk band in Chicago called Oh No. And he was performing guitar in that band. And he actually appears in many, many different places with many different people. And I always wanted to feature him on one of our programs. And very, very happy to have him here tonight in our Asian Improv Nights. And he is in our Asian Improv studio right now. So let's go to Dawei Wang. Whoa. Da Wei Wang. This was really great soundscape. And one of the things is that I have a privilege to kind of hear this sort of live because he's on the other side of our studio right now. But once again, from the alternative rock, punk rock scene, Da Wei Wang. It was a beautiful work. And next in the line, Francis Wong. And we cannot talk about Asian American creative music, Asian American jazz, Asian American creative music, Asian American record label, Asian American everything without these guys. Of course, we featured John Jang, which was the last time when we did the HotHouse Global programming. And today, the other half of the legend, Francis Wong, is with us from San Francisco. And like when we talked a little bit about that with Jen Shu, this whole amazing people came out from Bay Area, and they influenced us, people in the Midwest, and me at the time I was in Tokyo. So there's a tremendous influence on these Bay Area musicians over us in Asian improv arts. Asian improv record were actually generated by Francis Wong and John Jang many years ago, and I took parts of that and brought it to Midwest to run Asian improv arts Midwest. And so it's very honored to have Francis Wong joining us on the second installment of Asian Improv Arts program. Francis, are you there? Yeah, I think he's there, kind of frozen a little bit.
I can't hear anything.
Okay.
I can't hear anything.
He can't hear me.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. So he is going to play the music for you. We hear you though. Okay, so let's figure this out with our technicians here. Okay, let's put a camera to Francis and see if he can perform the music for us.
Well, I can't hear anything. Can you hear me? It's not working. Hello? Can you hear me? Because I can't hear anything. Okay, now you're on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So
I can hear you now.
Great. Tech glitch is fixed now, and we're going to go to Francis Wong's performance. If the connection's good.
So you can hear me?
Yes.
Because I can't hear anything in my monitor.
Hello. It's a little bit of a rough connection there, but we heard Francis perform. And hi, Francis. Yeah, I think
how's it going?
I'm good. Thank you for being with us. And I am going to talk about your legacy a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So he is probably, we could say, Francis Wong is a founder of the Asian Improv Arts. In many ways, he generated the artist record label called Asian Improv Records, and Asian Improv Arts is the Bay Area Asian American Arts presenter many years ago. And I met him probably 25, 26 years ago. And we've been doing, curating the shows and playing music together for the last 25 years. So it's really, really nice to have this connection still. You know, people like Jen Shu was originated from that whole movement in the Bay Area, and now she's doing stuff in New York and lots more. Vijay Iyer is one of those famous people now, and they all kind of came from that same house, you know, if you will, of the Bay Area, San Francisco. And here we are, we're doing all these things internationally today. And very nice to have you, Francis. And I forgot to tell you, since Francis Wong is right there with us, Asian Improv Arts also is creating a program outside of the HotHouse Global as well. So tune into our website, and you know, you'll see a lot more of us. But today we are global. Asian Improv Arts is collaborating with HotHouse Global, and we're doing something really international, national, international, and a global presentation. And I believe we're going to Taiwan now, if the engineers all ready and queued up. Francis, we will see you again. Thank you. Bye.
All right. It was great. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to go to Taiwan. Is she there, Shaolin? Yes.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Good evening.
Good evening, and everything is good in Taiwan, I believe. You guys are one of the safest area
Yes.
Yes. Great.
Yes.
So Jialin is she was in Chicago for about 4 years.
4 years.
Yes. And
Yes.
she was doing all kinds of things, performing and filmmaking and acting and everything else in the School of the Art Institute. And she now is in Taiwan, and she's been a very interesting collaborator with us. We're
Thank you.
in the middle of producing a music for her new performance to come, and you know, right in the middle of the production, we got into this pandemics and everything, so it's
Yes.
paused for a moment, but we are connected via telecommunication with this program, HotHouse International. So Charlene, it's yours now, and you can talk about your
Okay.
work. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, TatsuAoki, for introducing me. Just give me a few seconds. I might need to bring my friend Emma out for this room. Okay. Emma. 等一下哦。乖乖。And I'm back. Thank you, TatsuAoki, for introducing me. And thank you, Asian Improv Arts Midwest and HotHouse Global, for having me here. My name is Jialin Xu. I do performance. It is a way to respond to who I am and what I've confronted in the daily life. I'm a woman, a single woman, a daughter who lives with her parents and gradually becomes the household manager in this home. I've worked closely with my mother's employees, 2 women from Indonesia, Siti and Pipi. I plan and organize their work, schedule their activities, and teach them skills, including how to make the juice for my mother's daily swallowing training. How much water? How much apple and mango for this week? How to filter the juice? And remember to let my mom smell the scent of the fruit before she could taste it. Usually they call my mom 阿姨, meaning auntie, while they call my father 老板, meaning boss. I used to ask them why, since my mom is the actual employer. They couldn't explain why at that time. I have encouraged them to practice calling my mom also as boss, like how they've called my dad. It took about 1 year until recently they don't feel funny or awkward anymore to call a woman as their boss. Today is May 24th. In Indonesia, it's called Idul Fitri, a major holiday celebrated in Indonesia. It's like Lunar New Year in Taiwan. Siti, who should have been on vacation with her family in Indonesia right now, canceled her flight this February due to the outbreak of coronavirus disease. Today, I would like to represent my father, their boss, to express our gratitude to them. Siti, 辛苦了，谢谢你。今年那个过年你原本要回家，结果你不能回家，然后谢谢你照顾妈妈跟爸爸。Terima kasih。
sama-sama，谢谢大家。
辛苦了，你怎么说不客气？sama-sama。sama-sama, you're welcome. Okay, thank you. PT。辛苦了，你来1年，但是你进步很多。新年快乐，然后 terima kasih。也可以让妈妈知道，让她知道你的拿反了。
刘老板，弟弟有拿到了，他姐姐送给我礼物啊。
妈妈，你有看到吗？
有没有看到？有个转头。
有转头，有转头，有吗？
没有。
没有。
有。
哦，有。好。
好开心啊！
哦，有。
谢谢刘老板。
好。
刘老板，你看姐姐有送给我礼物啊，我很高兴啊，谢谢刘老板。
妈妈，我代表你跟爸爸送今天是他们的过年哦，就像我们的除夕，今天是他们的过年，所以我就代表你跟爸爸发红包给他们哦。你说不客气吗？说不客气，变金。哦，好。Siti， 你问。
很香哎。
很香哦。
是。
那个上礼拜芒果已经用完了嘛？
是。
所以这是我今天拿的，可以明天用。
是。
可以明天用。那你们这几天你们都怎么切？
是先切一半，还有一半。然后今天给老板给阿姨说，然后今天那个一半收起来，然后还有一半给老板吃。
好，这几天都是这样。
对。
OK， 好，谢谢。那这个就交给你了。好。
谢谢。
等一下。好，等一下交给你，你手这样子哦。好。 Whenever I like my mom to try something, I will try it first and share with CT and PP so we can experience the color, the smell, the taste, and the texture that my mom might also experience as well. And so to help us to read her feelings when she expresses herself through a blink of her eyes. 那交给你了。
好，谢谢。
好。请帮我拉开刹车。好。好，可以刹车。船往上，1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、12、13、14。请帮我拿。芒果在你那边吗？等一下可以让他闻。
好。
等一下我会告诉你。
也吞口水了。棒
换你说。自己唱你会的歌。好。你有闻到很香哦。 我们很像。啊，有，换你了。那我们来做果汁。
来，选个清汤温拿。
好。
来，阿姨，我们选一下哦。来，芒果在左边，冰棒在右边，你选哪一个？我选芒果。转头。冰棒，闭眼睛。冰棒好。来，嘴巴打开，1、2、3，1、2、3，好，来，等等等，来，摇一摇，等，咕噜咕噜，咕噜咕噜，
咕噜咕噜。
来，好棒，吞下去，
咕噜咕噜，吞下去。啊，再来咕噜咕噜，我听。哦。那有水，好。
来，阿姨，自己旁边，那个浸开水哦，温水啊，来，嘴巴打开，1、2、3，1、2、3，来，摇一摇，咕噜咕噜，
咕噜咕噜。有动嘴巴，再来咕噜吞下去。我听有没有？哦，有动头是不是？好棒哦。
还没吞下去。
还没吞下去。等你吞下去哦。
吞下去哦。
才不会呛到哦。有，太好了。
大声哦。好棒啊。
好。Thank you for accompanying us this morning in Taipei. I'm Jialing. This is Liu Yunying. Thank you. 谢谢。
Darlene, thank you. Darlene Shu was one of the live performers, and her work is revolved around a lot of issues with the daily life, and I've seen her other performances and film while she was in Chicago. It's always really coming like real life parts of the real life put into the film or putting into the live performances. Very interesting artist, and we have been working together to create some music for parts of her live performances. And that was a greeting from Taiwan. Next on the line is Yoko Noge. And so Chicago, of course, is a very notorious town for blues and as well as creative music and jazz and everything. So one of the things that today we can see a lot of Asian American, Japanese, or Japanese American blues players in the blues circuit, if you will. And Yoko Noge is one of the really first one came to Chicago from Osaka and kind of broke into the scene and became one of the fixture of the Chicago blues scene. And Yoko used to have Yoko's Monday Night and with her own band Jazz Me Blues at the HotHouse. And it's around the same time that we all started to play at the HotHouse on, back then on Milwaukee Avenue, and Yoko's band continued to play every Monday night all the way to the new HotHouse on Balboa Street. And so she is one of the Asian American cultural diaspora and the legacy in Chicago on the blues scene. So let's see if Yoko is ready to join us right now on this beautiful split screen. Here she is. Hi, Yoko.
Hey, Tatsu. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
We can hear you. Yes.
I can hear
So
you.
here is Yoko Noge, everybody.
All right. Can I stop now? All right. I'm gonna do something that I just wrote. It's a kind of improv, but it's about my friend who went to kind of dark place in the mental because of this crazy world right now we're living in. We'll get through this.あなたはなぜか遠いところに行ってしまったわけも告げずに届かないこの手がいくら差し伸べても振り向いてお願い私はここにいる けて逃げよう隠れよう走り抜けて逃げよう隠れよう走り抜けてここからはもう抜け出せないって悲しいことを言うのはやめてあなたの笑顔もう一度だけ見たいの私暗くなる前にあなたはなぜか遠いところに行ってしまったわけも告げずにSometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home, a long way from home. away from home.
Yoko Noge. Here she is again. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So she and I are actually a neighbor. We live very close she's in our neighborhood, but we don't see each other because of the pandemics now. But so today you may find many blues players from Japan, but Yoko is like Nomo. I don't know if you are in baseball, you know Nomo. So he is one of the very legendary famous baseball player that came to America to do the major league. And Ichiro, of course, it became famous and everybody knows, but I think it was because Nomo broke the shell and all these other people came in. And Yoko's position in Chicago blues scene is like that. She was one of the first one to come in and got it in the scene and opened the door for all the other people to follow. And Nomo and Yoko. And if you are into professional wrestling, Asuka is another wrestler who also conquered the wrestling scene. And all these common things of these three people, Nomo, Yoko, Noge, and Asuka, they're all from city of Osaka. So how about that? It's really great. Osaka is also known for the blues scene in Japan. So I hope you get to see Yoko Noge live. She just released her retrospective album called Best of Jasmine Blues. And she has a 12 original tunes that she used to play at the HotHouse with the original Jasmine Blues members. So if you are out there, just go to Yoko Noge's website or go to Amazon and purchase this thing. And thank you very much, Yoko. Okay. We would see her in the blues scene once this is all open up. It'll be a while still. So next down the line is, I think we're going to Jeff Chan. If he is ready there, here it is, Jeff Chan. So I think in the beginning of the program, I talked when Jenshu came. Jeff Chan is one of the original member of San Francisco Asian American jazz and creative music movement, along with John Jang and Francis Wong and Jenshu and everybody else, right? So we have a very famous people like Anthony Brown and Mark Izu and Mia Masaoka, that original generation. Then the Jeff Chan is sort of like, are you on the second tier generation wise, Jeff?
I always thought of myself. Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wasn't sure if I was muted. I always thought of myself as coming kind of the next generation after.
Yeah, next generation of that. Yeah, right.
Like
so
John and Francis.
So Jeff Chan is real import of a Bay Area to Chicago because he joined us in Chicago Asian American music movement, and together we created many shows like Asian American jazz festivals, and Yoko Noge, of course, performer you just saw. Yoko is one of the original founder of the Chicago Asian American Jazz Festival, and Jeff Chan is also part of that stuff. So he has this beautiful album called Chicago Clarinet Consortium. Is that the right name?
Chicago Clarinet Conglomerate.
Oh, Conglomerate. Yes, it's one of my favorite album featuring Jeff Chan, and along with Ed Wilkerson and Wata Bowden in that album. It's really, really great album. If you have a chance, just come and purchase his album on, Amazon or whatever, whoever. And Jeff Chance, he is there in his home today. Is this in your basement, Jeff?
I am in my basement, along with some floodwater.
Great. So one of the, I think the core members of the San Francisco Creative Music, Jeff Chan, everybody.
All right, very happy to be a part of this, and I am going to ditch my headphones for this.
Jeff-chan. Jeff-chan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tatsu.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So once again, his beautiful album featuring Edward Wilkerson and Moata Bowden, Jeff-chan's Chicago Clarinet Conglomerate, and it is available online, and it's only $14.99, Jeff.
Oh, you can get two.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with us, and hope to see you in live, Jeff-chan, and we would have you back on some other programs in the future. Right. So now we're going to conclude our show tonight with Melody Takata's work. once again, yeah, here is Melody. So we got Jeff Chan and Melody. How are you?
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tatsu.
great. Sure. So Melody is one of another important in a different arena. She is a taiko drummer and a performing artist and choreographer, and another cultural diaspora from San Francisco Bay Area to Chicago. And we've been working together along with Francis Wong and everybody else. Of course, Jeff Chan is part of the whole cultural diaspora. So it's so interesting to have this Asian American music kind of transformation in different placement. And Melody is now active in Chicago and also in San Francisco and sometime in Los Angeles. Blah 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 blah. But I think you're part of the big puzzle of this exchange between Chicago and San Francisco.
Yeah, it's been very exciting to be a part of Asian Improv Arts in San Francisco, as well as Asian Improv Midwest. And congratulations on your 25th anniversary this year.
Yes.
Asian Improv
Yes.
Jazz.
Asian American Jazz Festival. You're supposed to be in there too, Mel, but we'll see if that's going to be realized in live venue or we do online performance, but we're celebrating
That'd
that.
be cool.
You're part of it. And so Melody, you want to talk a little bit about your work? I'm going through my collection in the studio. Here you are. This is Melody Takata's work called Pages, and of course available online along with Jeff Chan's album, along with Francis Wong's album, everybody. So this is a really, really great work, and she's going to show the movie, and she'll talk about her work. Here is Melody Takata.
Thank you, Tatsu. And thank you, everyone, for being on this program today. It's such a pleasure to be a part of this event, as well as part of the Asian Improv Arts. Just to talk a little bit about what I've done, my background is in Japanese classical dance, as well as in taiko drumming. I got to study in Tokyo, Japan. And when I moved from LA to San Francisco, I was looking for some cohorts to work with, and first worked or was in the Bay Area with trying a number of different things, working with a lot of different people, and eventually been able to work with Francis. And I think that's when things kind of bloomed for me, and it's been such a great pleasure to experiment and learn about experimenting in that realm of jazz and mixed hybrid experimental music, and working with Lenora Lee back then, which is like, oh my gosh, over 10 years ago. We did a lot of interesting things together, including with Jen Shu. And I remember Jeff Chan back then. Yeah, it was a very live and active time. And during then, because of all the collaborations I worked with people, I got to have the great experience of working with Francis and TatsuAoki on a lot of different things and bringing hybridity into the classical and traditional forms. So it's just been a real pleasure to be a part of this group at this time, and especially during this pandemic. It really shows how strong all these artists are and how dedicated everyone is to presenting and producing and keeping active in the arts. Maybe Tatsu wants me to talk a little bit more.
Ready for your, we're ready for your movie now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So here is Melody Takata's work, Pages. Thank you very much. That was a Pages, which is the performing work in the film work by Melody Takata and featuring Francis Wong on the music. It's a very, very interesting work. We presented in San Francisco a few years ago. And this concludes our second edition of Asian Improv Arts Midwest programming with HotHouse Global. You can actually buy all the artist album. Jen Shu, Francis Wong, Jeff Chan, Melody Takata, everybody that was on the show today, Yoko Noge, everybody's CDs available on Amazon.com. So visit and purchase, and don't forget your donation button, please. It's on the bottom of your video screen, as I said. And I thank you very, very much for your participation to our streaming program. And I want to say thank you all for people behind the scene. Of course, HotHouse Global staff members there, and Vedran Lizbekovich, Chief Consultant, Louis Chi, Kyoto Aoki, and Rika Lin. And those are the live streaming behind the scenes stuff for today. This is a very, very, I would say, complicated process of making everything happen. And sometimes you have to get through the glitches, but we're learning every time we do this. And don't forget to go to the HotHouse Global channel. They have weekly shows now, and we have once a month collaboration with HotHouse Global, as well as Asian Improv Arts Midwest have our own programming. AIRMW.org is our website, and please visit us as well. And hope to see you again at HotHouse Global on our Asian Improv Arts programming number 3, which is coming in June. Thank you very much, and good night, everybody. I am back because there is an opportunity for me to do the Q&A, and I am not sure how this is going to be working. Engineer is going to tell me what it is. Do we type the questions? Yes, I believe that people can type in the questions if you have questions. Tatsu, where were you born? Yes, I was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan. Back in 50s, and I grew up in the Japanese traditional entertainment family, and rebelled myself and came to America in the late 1970s. That was one of the questions from the audience. Tatsu, where were you born? So that was my answer. What's the history of Asian improv? What is the history of Asian improv is very interesting. It is really created by two important individuals, John Jang, who we had as a guest performer last time, and Francis Wong in the 80s, in the 90s, and also along with Francis Wong, and John Jang, there are people like Glenn Horiuchi, Anthony Brown, Mia Masaoka, Mark Izu, and the second generation will be somebody like Jeff Chan and Melody, and Jen Shu, and all these people kind of came along in that movement. But I would say it's originated by 5 people. They are important people: Francis Wong, John Jang, Glenn Horiuchi, Mark Izu, Anthony Brown, and along with other, there's a blend of Wong Aoki was part of that movement as well. And they created not only the performing arts organization, they also created a record label called Asian Improv Record, because at the time, not very many people were interested in Asian American music. So they created a label and they created the organization. Then I took part of that organization in the mid-90s to Chicago and created a Asian Improv Arts Midwest. So today we are national organizations. That was a brief history. There are more to talk about. How can you all of this be a filmmaker, musician, and run not-for-profit? How can you do that? How can you do that? Yes, it is very thing. It's a survival issue. I learned moving to America that there are a lot of so-called art philanthropy that really never happens much in Japan or elsewhere. When I came here, I learned to kind of generate this art and also the intellectual movement with the academic movement, everything kind of bundled together to have this, put myself into this arts philanthropy. And this was something that I learned from not only Francis Wong and John Jang, but a bunch of other people in Chicago. And I kept that sort of together. As far as doing the music and doing the film and doing all the other performances, I think it means really the same thing to me. Whatever it is that I can express myself, then I will do it then. So I've always done music along with the filmmaking, along with the performing arts and everything. And the not-for-profit is how do I accommodate all these different formats together into the things I do, and I had to create the institution, so to speak. So that's how I created and learned, once again, learned to manage the not-for-profit organization. And HotHouse has a lot to do with my learning what to do. So thank HotHouse too. There are a lot of institutions like a HotHouse who do the performing arts presentation in a variety of different medium and be in this arts organization network. And that's what I've been doing. So I came kind of do all this stuff as a necessity for my living. Jen Shu commented such a amazing community that returned to me in nurtured in the Bay Area. Yes, it is. Bay Area is a home of the Asian American creative music, and I think I always want to contrast with like a Bay Area funk music is another thing that's really generated from the Bay Area, and Asian American creative music is also came from San Francisco during the late 80s and 90s. It was really a dense population of great artists and musicians and producers and everything else put together. So Asian American, something like Asian American Jazz Festival is things that I used to participate in San Francisco. Then I decided to bring that part of the festival to Chicago and worked together with people like Yoko Noge and other people to form the Chicago version of the festival. So there's a really interesting time. I would say 80s and 90s are really solid, and they were the catalyst of that whole movement of Asian American creative music today. Yes, after party with Tatsu was this segment. I think I was answering some of your question, and I really thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to present you uh, the music scene and the performing arts scene of Chicago and our cultural diaspora coming from West Coast, East Coast, and international connections that we have, and very um, honored to be part of the HotHouse Global Network to be able to do this. And I hope to see you again in June. And I don't really know exact date yet, but HotHouse will announce that soon. Thank you so very much. Good night.